Hi and welcome to The Winning Factor. I'm Alan Aitken, and on this show each week we take a look at some upcoming races in Hong Kong and try to isolate an angle to the race that might be a path to finding the winner. Well, the first group race of the season is on Sunday at Sha Tin. That's the Celebration Cup. It's race 8 and it's the first race we're going to look at, and our winning factor is the weights. So this is always the first group feature of the season and often features some of the better horses, the Derby horses from last season, that kind of thing, coming back to race first up. And that's the case this year, a lineup of horses who fought out the 4-year-old series last season, and they're bumping into some of the usual suspects from the older ranks. Now, there might be some confidence for quite a few different horses here, but for me, Patch of Theta and Sunlight Power may be the best of the older horses, but I think they'll play second fiddle to some of last season's 4-year-old crop, including Packing Hermod, Light Years Charm and Johannes Brahms. Now, while Light Years Charm does look very promising, and this will be a good test for him first up, I'm leaning to horses, a couple of horses anyway, that contested the 4-year-old races last season in Packing Hermod and Johannes Brahms. And Johannes Brahms in particular, I still don't think we've seen the best of, despite him having 9 starts in Hong Kong. He was very unlucky and had excuses, even in the races that he won. So he's certainly got some improvement. And it wasn't easy to find the right kind of replay to show you. But I've gone back all the way to March, a lead up to the Derby in the Classic Cup won by Ruby Lot. And quite a number of the runners in this race are running on Sunday. And I'm going to highlight in particular Packing Hermod and especially Johannes Brahms in this race. So this is race 472 last season. Johannes Brahms, mauve colours, gate 4, not the best to begin and gets well back. Packing Hermod, he's in gate 13, blue and white hoops, yellow sleeves, jumps well and presses forward. And you can see on the heat map here, quite a busy lead tempo for the first 600 metres of this 1800 metre race. So that early work all hurt Packing Hermod's finish later in the event. Now, back in the field, Johannes Brahms is over racing despite that good pace. And the winner, Ruby Lot, well, he's second last in white and blue colours. And there is a point in the middle of the race where Brenton Avdulla makes the winning move on Ruby Lot. The pace comes off, as you can see on the heat map. The field closes up and several runners who are out wide move forward, and Ruby Lot gets onto the back of them, now putting Johannes Brahms in a pocket inside him, and that becomes really important in the home straight. Johannes Brahms has to then wait until Ruby Lot has launched and gone ahead with his finish before being able to wind up himself, and he works home late into third placing. Now, it's an open question whether he would have threatened the winner there or not, but he certainly would have finished closer, and considering that he had also over-raced quite badly in the first half of that race, he did a good job, and that was with all those horses running off the same handicap weights. That isn't the case on Sunday. Now, as to Packing Hermod, well, we didn't see the best of him there. He did beat all the other leaders home despite doing all that work early, but the finishes were too good. After that, he skipped the Derby and dropped back to 1400 metres where he won twice in Class 2. And then he finished his campaign with this run we're going to see in a Group 3 similar to Sunday's race and featuring a few of the runners. So this is race 772 last season, barrier 7 this time, same blue and white colours, yellow sleeves. But co-partner Prance is the one who goes to the front early with Victor the winner. Matthew Poon on Packing Hermod finds a few punching up inside him, so he has to drift back to get in. And by the time he does get in, he's quite a long way from the top in what is just a steadily run race, so he has a lot to do. When they turn for home, he comes out and does produce a good finish, but that gap between the leaders and him is just too much to overcome when the leader hasn't had to do a lot and just keeps on kicking. So an excellent run there as favourite in defeat, although beaten. And Packing Hermod, well, this looks like his sweet spot, 1400 metres. However, he comes back to racing here with 132 pounds to carry, and that isn't always ideal in these Group 3 handicaps. When you look at this graphic, there are clear indications that the handicaps matter in these Group 3 races. Now, this shows the winning handicap weights carried in Group 3 races in Hong Kong since September 2014. And yes, from time to time we do get the champions contest these races, and they do at least hold their own, as that spike shows around 133 pounds, which was the maximum top weight until the rules changed and we went to 135 a couple of years ago. But what mostly strikes you on this graphic is how many winners are down on the lighter weights. When we go to the map for this race, well, I'm thinking it's average tempo, but it might not even get to that. We probably will see co-partner Prance and Victor the winner once again showing out early, though they do have to contend with Pray for Mir, who's really more of a habitual leader. He has a race under his belt and showed good pace at 1400 metres first up. He's also drawn inside them. Now, there isn't a lot of speed in this other than that. I've called it average, but it might be slower, as a majority of these runners are run-on style horses or will find this distance just too short. As a result, we might see a more positive approach on packing Hermod from Brenton Avdulla this time, not to lead, but certainly looking for a place in the first 5 or 6, which would give him a tactical edge along with My Wish. The inside draws also might offer a chance to be more positive with the likes of Patch of Theta, Light Year's Charm or Johannes Brahms, though they haven't really been known for it. But the tip from me in race 8, Johannes Brahms. His winning factor, the weights. Yes, there could be some issues on the map if he doesn't get away cleanly, and we did see that in that replay. But he hasn't always been like that, and if he does get away well enough to get a nice run just behind the pace here, history shows us that the weights really do matter in these Group 3s. He was exceedingly competitive with a lot of these horses at level weights last season, and now gets in getting around about 10 pounds off most of them. So that's certainly going to play in his favour. The other race I want to take a look at is race 11, and our winning factor here, the tempo. This is a Class 3 over 1600 metres, and I think there might be chances given to horses like Yun Long Elite returning for the season, Pope Cody, fitter for one run back, even Aestheticism with a claim, but I'm focusing on 2 horses in particular, Endeared, backing up from last week, and Zach Purton's mount, Beauty Bolt. Now, for me, the positives that I can find in Endeared centre around the fact that he's had 2 races back this season, so he'll be the fittest horse in the race. He is backing up within 7 days from a good run last week and is quite well handicapped on his best form. And I'm thinking that without a lot of pace in the race, we'll get to that when we come to the map, there may even be a chance for him to be ridden a little bit more positively here from a low draw. But let's first of all have a look at what he did 7 days ago. This is race 44, gate 6, red and yellow colours, and Endeared is clearly slowly away. But we were on a wet, slow track, and it's often a help on that race classification to be racing against the inside rail on the dirt under those conditions. So credit here to Brenton Avdulla, a very smart ride, as he goes straight to the inside rail when his horse misses the start and sticks to it, railing up mid-race to get on the back of the eventual winner, Mojave Desert. They turn for home. Mojave Desert brings him through the field and into the open, and Endeared doesn't really threaten the winner, but he certainly sticks to his task well. Well, a repeat of that, and Endeared would be very competitive here, although he does need to fix that start. Beauty Bolt, on the other hand, he had 1 run in Ireland for Joseph O'Brien. He was a winner there, and he's done nothing at all wrong in 2 starts in Hong Kong for a second, and then his win at the final Sha Tin meeting of last season. This is race 838. He's in gate 5 in those black and pink beauty colours, and Beauty Bolt is away okay. He isn't the fastest early, but can hold a position behind the speed when it's average early. but has trouble staying with them when it gets more competitive after the 1200 metres. Still, he continues to have a nice race under Zac Purton. The leaders have certainly given each other a bit to do, and it's going to come back to hurt them later in the race. Beauty Bolt balances up to go after them, and although the leaders kicked on pretty well considering how much they had done early, it's not well enough, and he swamps them over the final 100 metres. Now that was 1400 metres, this is 1600 metres on Sunday, but I think you'd agree after looking at that even then Beauty Bolt was looking like a horse who needed more ground, and he gets it first up on Sunday. And when we go to the map, well, this is about as stark as it gets when you come to a race map. I'm not even sure that Yuen Long Elite is at his best when he leads, but he did lead a few times last season, including his last start win. And there's so little pace here that I expect Keith Young will have nothing else in mind but to be heading for the front, with limited good options otherwise from barrier 12. Now we've seen Winning Gold ridden handy in a slow pace before. The booking of Brittany Wong and Blinkers back on asceticism might even suggest a more positive approach, and Pope Cody is likely handy from a low draw. Now we did see Endeared slow out last week. He does normally get well back from wider gates, but we have seen him once or twice a little closer, and his chances here are probably at their best if he is able to use that inside barrier at least a little. But the horse who gets a real picnic is Beauty Bolt. He has the pace to be close, do absolutely no work for most of the race, trailing the likely leader Yuen Long Elite before setting out after him in the home straight. So the tip from me in race 11 is Beauty Bolt. His winning factor, the tempo. Now I'm sure that Connections will have Hong Kong Derby aspirations for Beauty Bolt this season. He's certainly looked a promising horse so far, and he probably won't ever get a race that sets up better for him than this. And if he's going to be a Derby horse, I think that he's going to have to put them away here on Sunday. Well, that's it from the Winning Factor. Good luck on Sunday. We'll see you next time.